Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new here, welcome to the family. I am honored to have you here. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. Did you guys just see that light orb? So I'm going to take that as this great confirmation of this message that I'm here to bring to you guys today. I've had a name repeated in visions and in card draws for the past few days at least, if not past couple of weeks. And it's the name Hannah. And I think I know maybe like one Hannah in my life, and we don't talk. And so it was something that kept getting clouded, confused, lost, kind of lost in the shuffle of everything. And with my focus being so narrowed down on a daily basis, for instance, today is not a reading day. Today is not a filming day for me. I am not prepared or dressed or ready for filming at all. Today is one of my writing days. So I like to be really comfy, cozy on my writing days, have my hair up and not really worry about makeup or anything like that. But I meditated and slipped into a vision state prior to sitting down to write. And the vision is still so clear in my mind. I can still see every aspect of it. And when I came out of it, it was like my intuition was on hyperdrive, and I knew exactly what steps to go to, exactly what I needed to look up, exactly what I needed to jot down. And when I finished, I was like, what do I do with this? And then I saw myself doing this, filming for you guys today, which Spirit knows is like, okay, I'm trying to bring in a little bit more structure. And Spirit's like, no, this is the structure that you're going to have when you're called. And I embrace that. I am surrendering to the calling that I feel. And that's number one. There is an essence of surrender with this message. So the name Hannah, I have the Elqui Oracle, I think is how you say it. And it's she who, and it's a very divine feminine energy and deck. And here we have Hannah, she who listens. And it says understanding, witness, and compassion. So I came out of the vision and I came upstairs to start journaling. And I always put my dates down and the time that I start or the time that I had the vision or when I start journaling, just in case there's any kind of synchronicities. When I sat down to start journaling and then I looked at the clock, it was 11:22 this morning. So that is, again, another one of those confirmations for me. So Hannah, the vision was, and before I get into that, I do want to put out just kind of a little bit of awareness how some visions work, and especially mine. So my subconscious mind will present to me people within my life and then play out a storyline. It doesn't mean that this is a storyline that is occurring. It means that this is a theme and I'm asked to look into it. The way that my guides work, and some of you know this and some of you don't, is my guides like to work in puzzles. I think part of that is because my grandpa is one of my spirit guides and he loves puzzles, like logic puzzles and just like the most impossible puzzles ever. And he and I used to do that together. So sometimes I have to go on a kind of treasure hunt or figuring out the puzzle. This vision was very much one of those, because when I came out of it, the first thing I thought was, this doesn't make any sense. What is this? And I knew I needed to sit down with it. So I was in the house with my husband. He got a phone call. I was downstairs in the basement, which is where our bedroom is. And he was upstairs and I heard the name Hannah. And then he walked outside, which is what he does a lot when he gets phone calls, because he gets work phone calls all the time. Anyway, And I started looking out the basement windows, like tracking where he was going. And then I looked out one of my bedroom windows, and there was somebody, sorry about Willow, guys. There was somebody looking back through the hedges. And it was like all of a sudden the whole scene changed, and I was in this dark room, and I could still hear my husband talking to somebody about work. And I knew it was about work because whatever. Anyway, so it was kind of like I was tuning that out, but I wanted to see who was looking through the bushes. I needed to see who was looking through the bushes. It was like I was watching my husband move, and then my focus got distracted on the bushes because there was somebody standing in the bushes watching me. And so I went to open the window, and it was one of those old swing windows, so it swung open instead of the sliders that we have. So I opened it and I swung it open, and my husband looks down, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm caught. Which was really weird, because it's kind of, in that sense, what I picked up from that is it's kind of like any kind of spying or anything like that that's going on. It's going to be seen, known, whatever. But that's just kind of a side message that came through with another one of my readings that I'm working on getting uploaded today for you all. But what I picked up from this was when it swung open and he looked down, I stepped back, and all of a sudden everything changed. Everything shifted to being very, very focused on crystals, the window, and what was in the window well. The entire outside world had disappeared. Yeah? She gets a little worked up when I channel. Do you want to come say hi? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay. Hi, guys. Say hi. Say hi, Willow. Yeah. Okay. So in the window well, there was a crystal, and it looked almost like a Super 7, except that it was this purple and clear. Ow. And it had a kind of glowing red in the middle, and it was pulsating or beating like a heart. So in this vision, I picked it up, and as I picked it up, I heard that it was very rare, 3 in 1, and it had very high value. Okay, very rare, very high value. And it was alive. But it was sitting in the middle of the window on the outside, not on the inside, as though it had been placed there. And for some reason, I felt like I was the one that placed it there. And then, okay, baby. And then, sorry, guys. And then I was holding 2 crystals, and one of them was definitely selenite, and the other was a mystery crystal. I don't know what it was. But with the selenite, it had gotten wet. And so it was disintegrating. And a piece of it fell off. And I remember placing a piece very lovingly on a dresser next to the window. And I placed the rest of it in the middle of on the edge of the windowsill, because I had picked up that 3 in 1 crystal. And when I heard that message, I got scared and I dropped it, and it fell into the window well. And I wouldn't bring myself to put my hand in there. I couldn't figure out why. Why was I so scared? All I could see was leaves. And then I got the sense that maybe there were spiders or something. That wasn't it either. So I'm holding this 3rd crystal, and it's like a diamond almost, except it's very cloudy. And I looked over in the window frame, and there were scorpions, like little itty bitty scorpions crawling in the window frame. Okay. So this crystal I was holding, and the fear that I felt, it represented the cloudiness that fear brings. the cloudiness that fear brings, it represented the illusions, the clouded nature of the mind, what we're not seeing, what we're not realizing. Okay. So that's the first part. So I came out of this, and it was the first thing, my first thought was, why Hannah again? Why is the name Hannah repeating again? I'm going to be right back. I think she needs to go to the bathroom. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. And it's 11:11 on the timer as I come back. That's great. So the first thing that I did was I asked Spirit, why Hannah? And then I saw it in my third eye spelled out, Hannah. And I was like, it's a palindrome. It's the same backwards and forwards, like race car or taco cat. Okay, that's great. And then I heard the same back and forth. And it got me thinking about the planetary retrogrades, because planetary retrogrades go forward and then they go backward over the same place, the same degrees, and they make the same aspects, especially with the outer planets. And then they come back and go through that again. So it's this back and forth. The meaning of Hannah, though, on the other hand, is grace. And grace has been a huge theme going through the collective. It's been going through my personal life, but it's also been going through many, many readers' messages. And it's really this strong energy of grace in the collective right now, in the cosmos, just coming through and flooding through. And that is where Hannah came in. Hannah means grace. So the origins, and I talk about this a few times. I've talked about it in my books. I also talked about it in a couple of my readings. There are times where I will look at the definition of a word and I'll be like, there's something more to this. I want to get to the root, the origin. So I go to the online etymology dictionary. Grace in origin has two different meanings. One of them is to favor. And that's the second, it's considered the second definition. It's to favor, and it's GWERE is the Paleo-Indo-European root. Now, if you take that E at the end and you flip it, you go to the first definition of it. The reverse of it is heavy. And so you have either to favor or you have heavy, and that's 2 and 1. And so you think about heavy is correlated with the word aggravate. So something that is irritating, that really wears on you, that really frustrates you. And then to favor correlates with agree. So this is to understand grace in our life. It's what do we favor that agrees with us, that we agree with and that agrees with us. It's a back and forth. It's give and take relationship. What do we agree with that agrees with us? What do we favor that favors us? And we have to decide that. What do we do that is heavy and aggravates us? And that we make feel heavy and aggravated as well. So that's, and then I was getting like major hangman and world vibes, where you've got 21, which would be to favor heaviness, or you have 12, which is heavily to favor. So I got the image of the hangman, but a normal person in the hangman position, and their pockets are all full of stuff. And when you do and then into the hangman, they're hanging upside down and all of their pockets empty. All the change comes tumbling down. And it's like emptying of the excess, emptying of the things that keep us weighed down, that bring us heaviness. Okay. I know all of this feels very physical world. Bear with me because there's more. Okay. So this brought me back to Mercury retrograde. Like I had mentioned, the retrograded planets. So it's this internal back and forth with Mercury, and returning to, it's the back and forth returning for release to end a cycle finally. Now, this is happening in Libra and Virgo. So Libra rules the 7th house and is ruled by Venus. Virgo rules the 6th house and is ruled by Mercury. 6 is all about balance and harmony and unconditional love. And 7 is that higher level of spirituality, that higher level of understanding, that higher level of wisdom. So it's bringing unconditional love into balance and harmony in our connections and within ourselves and our connection to ourselves, especially right now. Because when we do that, the connections that we have in the outside world begin to elevate. Okay, so there is that. And then I was getting barred. I just really got pulled to barred because barred is actually another way of saying grace. So a bard is a lyrical poet or a singer, somebody who sings a song of their soul. So that is how you understand grace in your life. How do you view poetry, or what do you see as poetic in your life? I don't want you to put poetic or poetry into a box. I want you to think of the nature of poetry and how it's described and how people love it and what it's for. It is about taking words and blending them together in ways that are so creative and unique that it weaves this story that wraps itself all around you and all the way through you. And you feel as though all your pains and all your sorrows and every ounce of love that you have is finally understood simply by reading the words on a page. That is poetry to me. And it doesn't have to rhyme or actually follow any kind of poetry. It can be prose. It's the way that the words flow in such a lyrical and soul deep way that makes my soul sing in response. That to me is what the bard is. Now, the bard was highly revered, highly honored, highly favored, had high standings, especially in Celtic society. And then I was brought to two other versions of the way that grace presents itself in these cases. And it was the word ingrate, which is a person who is just ungrateful and unthankful. And then ingratiate, which is so similar. So ingrate and ingratiate. So you have ungrateful versus bring into favor or grace through thankfulness. So anything in your life or within yourself right now that you feel is heavy and weighing on you and doesn't favor you, or you don't favor it anymore, instead of it becoming something that you're ungrateful for and that you resent and then building that resentment up, what you can do is actually find a way to bring favor or grace into it. And that is where I got led to. The action of grace is literally to give thanks. We can give thanks for a lot of things, a lot of blessings in our lives, a lot of really wonderful things in our lives. We can give thanks for those. But can we give thanks for the very, very, very difficult, challenging, painful, heart-wrenching, soul-sucking, bleed out on the floor kind of moments and lessons that we've had in our lives? Can we find gratitude for those? Can we find gratitude for all of the mistakes and the errors that we've made, the way that we've hurt ourselves and the way that we've hurt others and the way that we haven't listened to our guidance and the way that we have veered off course, or the way that we have let anybody and everybody else tell us what our course is instead of trusting ourselves? Can we forgive ourselves for that? Can we be grateful for those moments? Because those are the moments we're being called to be grateful for. And what that will do is create a coup de grace. Now, a coup de grace is actually an action. The noun or the subject version of it is a stroke of grace. Now, for a stroke of grace, what you need is actually a single blow. The verb of it or the action of it is a single blow to mortally wound, or to the mortally wounded, to put an end to misery. Essentially, it's a merciful death blow to end another's suffering. Okay? What if the other is a version of you? This isn't about taking a death blow to something in your outside world. Please trust me on that. So, and we're going to continue with that because now Spirit wanted me to talk about the nature of grace, the way that grace is, the way that grace flows. So grace is kindness, compassion, consideration, and it is an elegance or a beauty of expression. It is the bard, it is the poetry, it is the lyricism. To be graceless, if somebody tells you you are graceless, what does that mean? To be graceless is to be in want or a lack mentality of having charm and having elegance. It is a feeling of never receiving pardon from your past transactions. But never receiving pardon from past transactions requires that you pardon yourself. And then you have to ask yourself, am I holding myself hostage? Am I holding my future hostage based off of past transactions, past transgressions, past regrets and mistakes? Am I really holding myself hostage and feeling as though I will never garner favor in my life because I can't favor myself, because I can't face what has happened? Now, Mercury retrograde in Libra, what I got was it's about welcoming grace into oneself and your connections through willfully, consciously choosing to engage in a coup de grace against the past. It's this clean slate. It's the end of going back and forth in your mind and in your heart and ushering in a rebalancing. So to end this going back and forth, you have to have that coup de grace moment. You have to have that death blow strike to something that you've been holding on to that is causing you misery. It's that heaviness that you feel so that you can come into a state of favor from Spirit and from yourself. And really, the state of grace from Spirit is sitting, waiting. It's up to you to give yourself this first because you have to open the door to it. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it does mean that that's what Spirit is telling you. Like, I have grace right here for you on a silver platter, but I have to be able to give it to you. But I can't give it to you until you understand that you deserve it, and you won't understand that you deserve it until you give it to yourself first. Okay. So the Mercury retrograde phase also has crossover into Virgo. That's why we talked about Libra and Virgo. The coup de grace when Mercury retrogrades into Virgo is within yourself. It's time to ingratiate your own love of yourself and understanding of the beauty as a divine vessel, as well as how you can be of service to others without feeling like you are an ingrate or like everybody that you're helping is an ingrate. It's understanding that the more that you give to yourself, the more that you get from the universe and from others, because you vibrate at that frequency. And I don't like talking about frequencies and vibrations and everything like that, because sometimes you are in the struggle. And I'm not going to negate that. You're in the struggle. That means it's hard to hear people talk about vibrations and know that this is what you're being called to do and not be able to get there. So I'm not telling you that if you're not there yet, that you have to do this and this is what it is going to take. I am telling you that there is a phase that you will come into when you willingly fall on your own sword or put your past self on the chopping block and say, I don't want to be this anymore. I don't want to feel this way or think this way anymore. I am ready to give myself grace. I am ready to be grateful for every breath that I take and every flaw I see within me, because I understand that I am a human being and I am a vessel, but I also understand that that makes me divine and that makes me beautiful no matter what. That is transcending into a different state where you have ingratiated yourself to yourself. And now you can actually feel the love from spirit coming into you. It is one of those absolute profound moments that becomes ineffable, really. It's very hard to explain, but you just feel it. Now, the cards that were on the thumbnail, the Knight of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, the Five of Swords, the reversed Four of Pentacles, the Empress, with the back of the deck being the Ace of Wands. This is that slow and steady progress in the world has brought you to this point of needing to drop the heaviness. A horse can only carry so much. And I know it seems like horses can carry just an incredible amount. And yeah, they can. They can. But the horse is meant to carry the knight. It's not meant to carry the knight and all of the knight's possessions and all of the knight's burdens and tasks and journeys. It's not carrying the knight's house on its back. It's carrying the knight. So this is you coming to understand that when you come into the physical world, it's meant to be you on the journey, but not you and this and you and that and you and this. And all of the this and that's are old versions of yourself. They're old versions, old storylines. Those aren't meant to continue forward. So it's time to shift into Hangman willingly. Let all of that heaviness drop off. Surrender to allowing who you once were to fall away, to have that coup de grace moment. Because in this Five of Swords, it's you're choosing your battles wisely. This is the essence of choosing your battles wisely. You could project this out into the outside world and be like, you're a burden on me. You're a burden on me. This situation is a burden on me. Or you could say, I'm seeing things from the eyes of pain. I am seeing things through the eyes of trauma. I am seeing things through the eyes of abandonment wounds, of betrayal wounds, of neglect wounds. I'm seeing things this way, and I don't want to see things that way anymore. And so the battle that I'm choosing is one with my own mental state so that I can elevate beyond this. I want to cut away from me these pieces that are weighing me down and making me feel heavy. That to me is that Five of Swords. Now, we had the reverse Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is it comes in two different energies, but in this sense, the reversed Four of Pentacles came in the energy of the things that you've been clinging to that you aren't even realize that you're clinging to. When you choose this battle, when you choose wisely and choose this battle, those things that you're clinging to within yourself that just aren't, they're really weighing you down. Those are the pieces that are going to fall away. After that was the Empress. The Empress sits on her throne and she creates. She creates her life. She nurtures everything and allows it to come back to her. Now, the Empress is Venus energy. Venus is in Virgo, while Mercury is in Libra, and they're ruling each other. They have mutual receptivity right now, which means that Venus and Mercury and Libra and Virgo are essentially blended energies in the realms of love and communication right now. And when we understand that, it helps out so much, because now we know that it's okay to bring these things together, to bring our awareness of these two seemingly disparate or separate parts, and now we can blend them together and make them into one. And then we're part of that, and that's three in one. And that makes you very, very, very rare and very valuable when you can learn how to blend these together through this retrograde period, moving together and coming into union and harmony. It's the same as coming into union and harmony with your divine masculine and your divine feminine within. And you start exuding that outward because it's divine masculine, divine feminine blended together and then existing within you. 3-in-1. You are the 3-in-1. You are the rarity. You are the incredibly loved and incredibly valued resource. And yes, you can be afraid to harness this, to grasp it, because you're afraid of the stingers of other people and the poisons of other people and the poisons of the world. But you know what? Fives have been repeating in readings. Not just my own, like my own personal readings, the readings that I'm doing for the collective, the readings that I'm doing as pick a card readings, all over the place. I've been seeing them continually within other readers. And the Hierophant, the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Wands, the 5 of Swords. These are the repetitive cards. You know, the one that I haven't seen hardly at all? The 5 of Pentacles. This is because it's not outside of ourselves right now. The energy is not calling us outside of ourselves. Damn near every planet is retrograde. We're being called internally. We're being called to come back to self, to go within self, to bring these things together. This is spiritual, emotional, mental energies that are trying to come together within us, within the physical body. Our physical body is the vessel. This is about going to the root and the center. And again, there we go back. And once I came to that understanding, then I got another download and another message that is connected to this. With the Pentacles energy, that is earth energy. It's physical, it's surface energy. This is energy that we can see, touch, taste, smell, and hear without using any of our psychic gifts, our psychic senses. That's what Pentacles energy is. We aren't working with Pentacles energy. However, if you think about crystals, the nature of crystals, I don't know if anybody has ever seen Journey to the Center of the Earth, but in that movie, they are going obviously to the center of the earth, but there is a portion of it, and I'm pretty sure it's this movie, fairly certain, but there's a portion of when they're going to the center of the earth where it could be the core, might be the core. Anyway, where there is a layer before getting to the actual center of the earth that is crystals everywhere. Granted, when you're, like flying a spaceship thing through it, it's really dangerous because they're really pointy and they're really big crystals, stalactites and stalagmites, but it's made of crystal. We can find crystals in the physical world on the surface of the earth. We can dig down a little bit and find them and all of that. But it's the same premise as the difference between mining for coal and mining for diamonds. When you're looking for coal, you don't have to go as far down. But when you're looking for diamonds, diamonds are down. They are deep into the earth. No, the deeper that you dig into yourself, into your core, into your being, down all the way down to the center, that's where you discover this limitless, endless abundance within you. It's just like surrounding the essence of who you are all of these beautifully preserved, protected crystals that never fade, can never be destroyed. And we all contain it within us, okay? Now, the next one is a warning. And it was a warning that was maybe a sort of warning. Sorry, I didn't realize that the camera got shifted. It was a sort of warning, and at the same time, it was just kind of like a message of discernment here. Okay, so everybody has their own way of channeling. Everybody has their own style. Everybody has their own rituals and techniques and methods. For instance, not for instance, but this is about cleansing energies, cleansing the mind, cleansing the heart, cleansing the soul. Everybody has their different techniques. Spirit wants you to be mindful of what is right for you. So it's the difference between selenite and water, okay? Both selenite and water are purification, spiritual purification methods. They spiritually cleanse the body, they cleanse the spiritual field, they can help you with emotional cleansing. Selenite can do charging for other crystals, but if you combine these two methods together, if you put selenite into water, the selenite will begin to dissolve. So the water, think about the nature of a selenite crystal here. So it looks very hard. It looks like a hard substance. It's not. You can actually see a crack in this one already. And as you can see, and I wouldn't normally do this, but it really helps for you to understand. I literally just took a slice of it off because even though it looks really hard, it is very deceiving. It is not as hard as it looks. And it dissolves in water. Now, water is a force to be reckoned with. Water looks like no big deal. It's just water. Like you glide right through it, right? Have you ever seen the ocean waves crashing or watched any kind of storm, like high wind storm? Felt the absolute cut you to the bone, freezing nature of winter and snow, like being covered in snow, and how much it cuts deep with how cold it is. That's water. Water comes in many forms. The heaviness in the air with humidity, that's water. It's not air, it's water in the air creating the heaviness. Emotional cleansing needs a huge burst of release. And if you think about it in the sense of the selenite stick is the emotional blockage, the emotional part that you've been holding on to that needs the coup de grace. Tears are naturally cleansing for the body. Throw the selenite into water, and it falls apart. It dissolves. It takes away the edges. It minimizes it. It becomes smaller and smaller over time because you're emotionally cleansing it. You're cleansing it with such a powerful element of water. Let yourself do this, because whatever back and forth that your mind has been doing or your heart has been doing, it's impacting multiple layers of life. It's impacting your spiritual life, your emotional life, your mental life. And Spirit's really coming in and trying to prevent it from hitting the physical too hard. And that doesn't mean it isn't hitting the physical. It could very well be. But with the right discernment, with the right actions taken, it won't be as hard as it looks, because looks can be very deceiving. When you feel into it, you'll see how easy it is. We have the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is this youthful, inspirational energy that wants to plant seeds of prosperity and abundance and success and wealth. And at the same time, this essence of naivety and it's going to be too hard and I'm too young or I'm too this or I'm too that in a self-defeating way is coming through with this card so much. And then we've got the Six of Swords and Spirit saying, go away from that. Leave that behind. Leave this hypercritical analyzation of yourself behind. Like, leave that shadow Virgo side behind and start looking at the positives now. Because we have, oh, I love this combination, the Chariot and the Nine of Swords. That's how you defeat this anxiety, this worry, this blame, shame, guilt, sadness, grief, inadequacy, imbalance, inequality, inability to see your success. And, you know, in this Chariot card, they're on top of the clouds. And you think about that one crystal, the one that looked like a diamond, but it was cloudy. It was cloudy because it was the illusion. It was the illusion diamond that you thought that you wanted or that you thought that you needed to protect yourself because you didn't think that you could put your hand into the mystery or leap into the unknown to grab the 3-in-1, to grab the piece that is the rarity, the part that is exactly what you want. Now, in the physical world, that could be that you want 3 different things at the same time, and you've been told enough times you can't have that. You need to pick one and take yourself in that direction. And I'm speaking from personal experience, in case you were wondering. We've got Death, the Lovers, and the 5 of Wands. This is like, it's like, okay, I'm seeing it like this. Like, okay, it's an end to this mindset of battling to be loved, battling to feel loved, battling to be in harmony and union, battling to justify decisions, battling to be able to have the freedom of the choices that you make without holding any grudges against yourself, without any regrets. And on the back of the deck, we have the Strength card. That's what Spirit is saying here. Like, it's time to stop fighting against the things that you want. Like, if you want them, you want them. If you know that they come from your heart, you know they come from your heart. And I'm going to tell you guys straight up, I have struggled so much for so long because, and exactly, like blue. She who loved once, and it says fragile, secret love and rejection. I have battled so much because I am an author, but I'm also a YouTuber, and it's been a hard journey to build these things. And I could lose myself in writing for days and hours on end. And I can lose myself doing this because I've already been going for quite a while, longer than I intended. But when Spirit wants to talk, it's time to talk. But I've done this before, and it's that fear of rejection, that fear makes you feel so fragile because you love this stuff and you want it to be the right thing for you. We can't hold on to the fear of rejection forever. If you have something in your heart that you do truly want, and you know if you give it up, you'll have nothing but regret, is it worth walking away from? Like, where's the victory in it? Where's the victory in leaving behind love? Where's the victory in keeping what you love a secret? We have Eterna, she who becomes, metamorphosis, transcend, and journey. Letting go of feeling as though the things that you love are super fragile and you have to protect them, and you have to be very secretive about the things that you love and the things that you love to do, and being terrified of rejection because you may have experienced rejection in the past, or because you have been rejecting parts of yourself for a very long time. When you initiate your own inner strength and really slay that part of your psyche, that part that you've been holding on to and carrying with you for way too long, that part of you that's ready to fall away. It really is. It's ready to fall away. It understands it served its purpose and it served its time with you. And now it's time for something new. That's when you become. That's when you start transcending. You start transforming into she who is wild, sauvage. And I know I can hear Willow, so we're going to have to wrap this up. You begin transforming into the untamed, wild, mysterious person that you are. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to experience, whatever it is you're trying to bring into your life, let go of the pieces of yourself that don't match that anymore. Let go of the fears, the worries, the anxieties, the insecurities, the regrets, the challenges that you put forth to yourself. Let go of those. Let go. Treat it like selenite and submerge it in water. Purge it from you. Strike that last death blow to what is still causing you to suffer internally. Let it go. Now is the time. Mercury going into retrograde is going to show us the pieces within that make us feel as though we're going to lose the things that we love because of a sense of a lack of love for ourselves, a lack of grace that we gift to ourselves and favor that we give to ourselves. Grace is here for you to experience. It is here for you to share with the world. It is here for you to embrace, to become moving, flowing grace in the world. It's time for you to embrace the wild, mysterious person that you are. I want to know. All right, my loves. If this resonated, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And I will see you all next time. Down in the comment section below, leave me a note, tell me, or make a bold statement to the universe and say, I accept grace. I am grace. I give myself grace. Something like that. I'd love to see you guys standing in your power. All right. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye.